हाँ, एक बात बताऊं, डांटा बता। हाँ, मैं जादू को बहुत मिस कर रहा हूँ, वो भी मुझे बहुत मिस कर रहा है। माँ ने स्पेसशिप भेजा है और मुझे बाकी की शक्ति देने के लिए जादू लैंड बुलाया है। तू फिक्र मत कर, मैं 2 दिन में वापस आ जाऊंगा और मैंने वाटर बॉटल भी ले लिया है। हाँ, बाय।
चलो।
Thank you very much. This is Victor Gao. Before I answer your very important question, let me just share my view with my American panelists. Do you know how to deal with a country like India, a great country, a very long civilization, one of the largest populations in the world? Let me share with you my view. Always deal with India with respect. Treat India as an equal. Respect India's independence of decision making. Don't try to impose your view onto India. Why? Because the Indian people will simply not accept that, because they are a great people with their own brains, and don't impose your brain onto them. Now,
America's role will come under question. Sorry.
Well, a couple of things. First, I totally disagree with you on NATO and the United States. We're destroying the Russian economy. By the way, I am really shocked. It's the only way I can put it, that India, which claims to be neutral and sympathetic, at least to the humanitarian crisis, is negotiating a deal with Russia for 12 Su-30 aircraft right now as we speak.
बोलने दे तकलीफ हुआ है बेचारे को बोल
I am absolutely shocked. Not only that, the Financial Times, which is not an American newspaper, has said that this is going to be a rupee for ruble deal. Now, come on. You're accusing NATO of being weak? What is India doing? That's number one. Number two, the sanctions have been hurting, and you say Russia's advancing? Russia isn't advancing at all. Not only that, the Ukrainians blew up a Russian ship. They're knocking out Russian tanks. They're knocking out Russian aircraft. I was speaking to a Russian yesterday who said, oh, we control the skies. What nonsense. They're shooting them down. They weren't even supposed to have an air force by now. So please, ARNAB, we can disagree, but let's stick to the facts.
Okay, I will let Daria and others respond to you. I shall only respond to you very briefly to your unnecessary attack on India. I do not understand anymore, and it's becoming frustrating that any discussion regarding this war becomes a discussion on India. Well, I will say it one more time to you, love. India is going to take care of India. India is going to look after India's interests. And our economy is growing 3 times the pace or 4 times the pace of the American economy. More and more Americans are living under the poverty line. They are not able to make ends meet, right? And more. Once more! And please, this is not our war. Dove, you are the ones with the biolabs in Ukraine. You are the ones, Joe Biden's sons was doing all kinds of business in Ukraine. You are vested in Ukraine. You are pushing Ukraine. You are encouraging Ukraine. And yesterday, your president went and said, listen, Zelensky, if you want to give up territory, it's your choice. Listen, Zelensky, if you want to break up your country and give a little bit of it to Russia, it's your choice. You have hung the Ukrainians out to dry. Dove, and how dare you question India all the time? You've hung them out to dry.
Well, we've hardly hung them out to dry, considering we're providing them more arms.
You're just saying go fight for the last Ukrainians.
Over $2.5 billion of assistance. How much have you guys given? The whole world considers Mr.
We've given humanitarian aid. It's your war.
Aggressor.
It's your war. We'd rather give them food than weapons. 40 countries did not toe the American line at the UNGA. There is a serious bloc emerging between China and Russia, right? And Venezuela. Is Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, all deepening ties with Russia. Oil exporting countries, OPEC is with Russia. So America has completely failed to isolate Russia. It may equally be victor because nobody is afraid of America anymore. America's heyday is over. America's sphere of influence is being questioned. North Korea is testing ICBMs. Iran has undermined American sanctions. American sanctions have completely and utterly failed against Iran. Am I right? Am I wrong? Mr. Professor Marandi is there in Tehran. He's joining us today, taking on this whole American approach. Even Bangladesh, by the way, Dove, even Bangladesh is saying, to hell with all the pressure from America and NATO. We are going to do business with Russia. We are building a nuclear power plant with Russia. We are going to continue to build a nuclear power plant with Russia. We'll do business in nuclear power with Russia. Basically, even Bangladesh has said, to hell with the Americans, to hell with NATO. And doesn't that reflect something, Dove? Everybody is saying that now.
No, it's not everybody, Arnab, and you know it. Look at the vote in the General Assembly again. By the way, this nonsense that we pressured countries to join NATO. Countries ask to join NATO. They ask every time. And I don't know that Iran is getting that much stronger or that much better or that much more economically strong. And if you look at Russia, what's happened already, stock market closes for a month. Ruble is worth, what, 15% of what it was not all that long ago? The Russians are begging people to trade in rubles because they can't afford to do anything else. As you already heard, the biggest plant that produces cars in Russia can't do anything because it doesn't have, you know what, the American semiconductors or the European semiconductors. This nonsense. And the biological tests, I mean, what are you talking about here? Nobody seems to be talking about the fact that Russians have invaded Ukraine, that the Ukrainians are begging for more and more equipment. And I think that it looks like on this particular program,
look at Yemen, look at Libya, look at the sanctions on Venezuela.
Professor Marandi knows the situation in Iran better, but let me just tell you this. Today, Dove, I'll tell you, you're very, very frustrated today, very frustrated. And to be honest, if I were in your shoes, getting all this from, you've been seeing too many American movies.
Not at all, not in the least. You've been seeing too many Russian movies.
Victor, the Americans believe everything is going their way. When this is done and dusted, Putin will be out of a job. Russia will see a regime change. China will be diminished. India will coolly and calmly listen to whatever Biden is saying. That's the reality that they are living in. The reality that I live in is where even Iran did not get affected by their sanctions. Yeah, Victor, would you like to come in?
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is Victor Gao. Before I answer your very important question, let me just share my view with my American panelists. Do you know how to deal with a country like India, a great country, a very long civilization, one of the largest populations in the world? Let me share with you my view. Always deal with India with respect. Treat India as an equal. Respect India's independence of decision making. Don't try to impose your view onto India. Why? Because the Indian people will simply not accept that, because they are a great people with their own brains, and don't impose your brain onto them. Now,